Good morning and welcome to Community Connections. I am Dawn Lowe. Happy April 1st, everyone. We are going to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in today's segment. I'll announce that here in just a segment, but I do want to give a shout out to some new members that we have here in the month of, or just previously in the month of March. We want to shout out Digitech Advertising, CUP, Always Fresh, Southern Indiana Epoxy Flooring, Millhausen Tech, LLC, and Knot and Vine Plant Shop. Welcome to all of those new members with us under Chamber Directory. So we want to congratulate them and we look forward to supporting them. I have kind of teased it on our social media. We are so close to that 400th member mark, and not that we're worried about numbers, more relational building. However, we do take a step back and we look at success based on some of our analytics and some of our numbers. So we're super excited to be approaching that threshold. So I want to congratulate all of those new members. We look forward to serving you. Coming up, we've got a couple of ribbon cuttings left. We are forging our way through the most intense spring that we have ever had. The start of 2026 has been just laced with a lot of ribbon cuttings. By the time we get to April 10th, we will have had 13 ribbon cuttings already in 2026. And just to put that into perspective, we hosted 20 in the year 2025. So super incredible spring that we're having. On Thursday, April the 9th, we're going to cut a red ribbon for Plumtree Realty. On Friday, April the 10th, we're going to welcome Zaxby's to Greensburg at 10 a.m. On Friday, April the 10th at noon, we're going to introduce the new photography trail. But before then, this Thursday, April the 2nd, that's tomorrow, we're going to cut a red ribbon for Hometown Tanning LLC at 11 a.m. So again, real quickly, that is tomorrow, April the 2nd at 11 a.m., Hometown Tanning LLC. Join us for that ribbon cutting. On Thursday, April the 9th, Plumtree Realty. That ribbon cutting is at 3 p.m. They're located at 127 East Main Street. On Friday, April the 10th, we're going to have two ribbon cuttings that day, starting off with 10 a.m. at Zaxby's, 2129 North Middle Drive. And at noon that day, the photography trail, that one will be located on the southeast corner of the Decatur County Courthouse. Also coming up for the Chamber, we have announced the next Lunch and Learn with WealthWave, Unlocking How Money Works. That's on April the 14th from noon to 1. Tickets are live on our website. You can go to www.greensburgchamber.com to get your tickets for that Lunch and Learn. Those are always free for members and only $10 for a potential member. Our next Leaders and Loggers will be Tuesday, April the 21st from 4 to 6 p.m. That will be with Dyed Designs. Alyssa Reinecke is going to take us through how tie-dye works. I think there's going to be a little craft make and take session for that one. So I'm super excited for Alyssa and to help announce all the new things that Dyed Design is going through. Again, that's April the 21st from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Tap. We also have just released a ton of information on our social media. If you are not following us, you definitely need to check us out. Tickets went on sale yesterday for our next HR Power Hour. We're going to announce the latest Chamber member benefit, Chamber Care. So go ahead and just check all that out on Facebook if you don't mind. Go to our Facebook page, the GDC Chamber. On May the 7th, we're going to host an HR Power Hour on Chamber Care. That is an initiative that our Chamber has been working on for several years, and our Board of Directors is proud to say that they have gone into an agreement with the Indiana Chamber that will allow our Chamber members to have access to some really affordable healthcare options. So if you want to be a part of that discussion, tickets are on sale on our website. Again, that's greensburgchamber.com. Check that out from May the 7th, HR Power Hour from 11:30 to 1. That will be held in the multi-purpose room of Greensburg City Hall. And then just announced about 20 minutes ago, our Women in Business tickets went on sale, the Women in Business Conference. Powerful, Purpose, and Polished will be held on June the 11th. That is Thursday, June the 11th from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Tickets are, as I just said, now on sale. So no joking around. We've got a lot of great things coming up for the Chamber, and we're excited to have you be a part of all of that. So whether you're looking for marketing, whether you're looking for education, information, to just network and connect with other people in our community. We have lots of great options for you. And I want to jump right into the program today. I said we're going to We're going to throw a little bit of a twist on today's program. We're actually joined by two chamber members. So we're very blessed to have two of our local chamber members in studio with us today. I'd like to welcome Jared Holcomb, a financial advisor with Edward Jones. Welcome, Jared, and thanks for being with us on the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. We're going to take a deep dive into all things financial advising here in just a second, but I also want to introduce Tom Stricker with Cutting Edge Sporting Goods. Welcome, Tom.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm super excited. We've got two totally different dynamics here. So we're going to just bounce back and forth a little bit. I'm going to kind of ask you some of the similar questions. And we're just going to start with you, Jared. Edward Jones, Edward Jones Financial Advisor is what I was trying to say. Just talk a little bit about your background. Let's start there.
All right. Yeah, sure. So my background, I grew up in Versailles, Indiana.
Okay.
And so I went to South Ripley High School. During high school, I had the opportunity to work in small business. So on my dad's side of the family, they own a pretty large small business in Versailles. So I grew up there, got to do all the things, right, from cleaning toilets to delivering, awesome. Stocking shelves, all that. But that's where I think that grew my passion for small businesses, because I got to see my uncles and my grandpa, go through all that work. And so, that's still one of my favorite jobs in my life, was working
Cleaning
there.
Toilets.
Well, we'll exclude that.
Not
But
what you just
that was probably the least favorite portion. But
you.
it was really good to make a small contribution to that business. And then on the other side of my family, my uncle's farm. So even though I did get, to do some straw and hay baling when I was younger, I wasn't as involved with that, but I did get to watch them grow that farm over time. And so super proud of both families on what they've accomplished there. So
yeah, so somewhat local, right here, just neighboring to Versailles, and stayed local. I'm sure there were some weaves in and outs, but what brought you back or landed you in Decatur County?
Yep, that's a good question. So after high school, I went to Rose-Hulman in Terre Haute. And then my brother is actually a financial advisor for Edward Jones in Versailles. So trying to get a little bit closer back to home.
Yeah.
And then my mom and dad, they've recently entered retirement since 2020. And so now they're kind of enjoying all their planning, and so proud of them. My dad retired from RAMC in Osgood.
Okay.
And then my mom, she retired from South Ripley School Corporation. She did many years in the cafeteria. And now they're enjoying themselves. And then my girlfriend, she currently manages medical staff at a large dermatology practice in Indy. So,
Nice.
Just trying to get a little bit closer to family. Mom and dad still live in Versailles. My brother's in Batesville. He's got his office in Versailles. So kind of getting it closer to home.
I love that. I'm very connected.
Yep.
Very connected. Awesome. Tom, let's turn to you. Tell us just a little bit about your background and what brought you to Cutting Edge Sporting Goods.
It's kind of odd because I wasn't anything to do with hunting or anything.
Really?
As I grew up.
Okay.
We lived down in southern Indiana around Charlestown, back and forth between here and California. Dad had a business in both places. When Dad passed, we moved up here and just got closer to Mom's family up here.
Okay.
But again, I was still just a city kid, so had nothing to do with hunting or nothing. Met my wife when we worked at Hardee's. So with working at Hardee's, and then her family all hunted, lived out by Bernie out there. So learned all about that stuff, and her dad taught me how to shoot a gun.
You had to join the family hobbies, right?
Yeah, and then of course they taught me how to hunt and all that stuff. And then one day I bought a bow on Tree Country Trader, years ago.
Okay.
And I mean, just went from there. I think that was back in 2003.
Okay.
And then 2009 we opened up the shop.
And did you open the shop yourself, or was that already in existence and you took
me
it
and the
over?
wife. Me and the wife did it. I was working at Valio at the time, and just back and forth from Valio, went to Pulse Camps and worked out there, customized cars, and so
you've had your hand in several different things, but what a sweet story, and so interesting that wasn't originally one of your hobbies growing up, and it's turned into this very successful small business here in downtown. I know that there are a lot of events that you host, and we'll talk about that here a little bit later in the program, but you have a great draw, and not just here locally, but I think regionally and maybe even a little further past regional as well.
Yeah, we pull a lot from Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Down by Louisville, north of Indy, all that.
All because of a woman. No, it's a great story. It's a great story. We're going to get into some more details about all the different things that you offer, events, and products here in just a second. We're going to flip back. So listeners, you're going to have to stay tuned in today with us, because we're going to flip back and forth. So hang on here with us. But let's flip back to Jared. Jared, just talk a little bit about some of the things and services that you offer through Edward Jones.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of the well-known items, right, are retirement 529s, but we then also dive into estate planning. We also offer CDs, just like the bank, right, and we've got annuities, life insurance. So really, it's kind of a one-stop shop. We roll all those things into a single plan for folks, based on what their needs are, based on where they want to get to in life, what they're planning for. We can really put together a whole package.
Like maybe if they want to start a small business like our friend Tom.
That's right. It's a good idea, right? Because a lot of times small businesses, they tend to get a lot of their net worth, 80 to 90%, within that small business. So it's good to keep track of all those blood, sweat, and tears. We don't like to mention exit planning, but how I want to look at that is your investment. So, how do we grow that? How do we watch that value over time? And that's what we can really incorporate into the plan and see if there's any additional outside of the business savings that should be set aside so that you can have a successful plan for retirement.
Let's stay there for just a second. You mentioned the words exit plan. It's very interesting to me that right now in the business industry, we are talking about what is being coined as the silver tsunami. The silver tsunami being a lot of our business owners are becoming or getting to that age where they're thinking about retirement. They're thinking about selling the business, and they have to have a way to set themselves up for success for that exit plan, just as you're saying. So, whether that's just personally or as a business owner, that is kind of that big hump that we're getting ready to enter into here, as a business community. So talk a little bit about employee retirement plans and what that could look like for a business.
Okay. Yes. And I'll also add, right, as we talk about the exit planning, that's a dirty word for business owners, right? Because
we're thinking about it.
Right? And when they do exit, then they might want to start another business, right? Because it's in their blood. They like building things.
Yeah.
So we've got some options based on the revenue. We can also take a look at enterprise value, and we can potentially try to grow that even more from a sales standpoint. What is the worth of that business, so that we can try to maximize those returns. Now, your other question was, well, what about retirement plans for employers, right? It's actually, there's multiple benefits, right? Not only for the business, right? Because we can accumulate some tax benefits from the contributions into the employees' plans, as well as the owner's plan, right? Get some tax benefits from that contribution. But really, think about some of the rough times in a business. If an employee leaves or you're trying to get good help, it's hard to do, right? So part of offering that plan can actually attract some employees and retain them better. And then also we talked about a lot of that net worth, 80 to 90%, gets caught up in the business itself. It offers the owner the advantage to saving outside. So then they've got a little bit more security as they approach retirement. So it becomes a good situation not only for the business, the employees, but then also the owner.
Interesting. Very nice. Let's flip back over to Tom here. Tom, I want to hear a little bit more about the story after you met the girl and decided to build the business. Talk about what that transition was like and what did that start out to what it's become today?
Well, I mean, I had bad customer service at a archery shop. I had been given a bow and went to fix it for my draw link because somebody knew more than I did.
Uh-huh.
Told me my draw length needed to change. So I went to a shop and they said they couldn't work on it because I didn't buy it from them. Okay, cool.
Wow.
So we drove to Bass Pro.
Okay.
Bass Pro set me up with a new bow because they couldn't get the module out to change my draw length. Set me up with a new bow. The next year, I had an issue in the woods. String flipped off the cam. Went back to that pro shop to have them put the string back on. I didn't buy it from them, so they wouldn't work on it. Again, right? So went to Bass Pro. They threw the bow in the corner, told me to get a new bow. Done that. To me, that was customer service.
Wow.
Even though it's a box store, right?
Right.
So found a shop in Shelbyville and joined with them. Shot 2 nights a week. Had a fun shoot on a Sunday and pitch in. Just a big family. And they had a bunch of construction in the front. Caused them to close. And that was in the spring of 2009. And then we just went straight into looking to see what it took to open up a business and all that stuff. And by July of 2009, we already acquired with Rick Plake to get a building up by Sherwin-Williams and framed it all in. August we opened. September we had our grand opening. So, I mean, first year in that building, I mean, it was like $175,000. We thought we was killing it because the other shop up in Shelbyville was, they was only selling 20 bows a year. We sold like 75 bows. We were like, wow, something's going good.
Right.
Then Pleak ended up buying the building where Heligmeyer used to be. So now it's, so we ended up getting in there. Of course, we were scared to death because the rent went 3 times what we were paying.
Sure.
And our first year in there was, $350,000. So we was like, wow. And it's just grown, right? So the community's grown. They've asked us for more and more and more. So they asked for more stuff. So we put more stuff in, shrunk our range down. And then it was, hey, we need more range because another shop closed and they had a range. And so we opened up in the old Marsh building out on Lincoln and put in the 3 ranges, one for the NAS program, one for a big 3D range, and then our paper range. So we can host big tournaments and all that kind of stuff. Of course, more inventory as well. And, rent went way up again. So just scared to death that this is what it has to take to stay in this building. Well, let's hope it happens. With Greensburg and then, of course, with all of our surrounding communities coming to us, here we are. We're still here, and as he's talking about exit planning, we're coming up on 20 years of running it, and I'd love to let somebody else run it that's got more ambition, right? Younger, get some new growth going, had more tournaments.
Getting to that time.
I'm not young, and it's not as easy.
You deserve a break.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Still got to work, right? You've got to pay for the fuel and all that kind of stuff you want to play and enjoy. So I'd still love to work for whoever owns it or whatever eventually. But if it doesn't happen, then I guess we either got to downsize or do what we got to do because it's almost too much for me and the wife.
Okay. Well, and that's that's a testament to what you've grown it into. A great problem to have, but you're starting to feel that pressure a little bit and ready to take a different direction with that. And that's part of the life of a business. So
right, and everybody knows that the internet is out there, right? So with the way everything works now is companies are selling more on the internet, and the internet's out there for people to buy from. So you take a small business, and now you have the same stuff that you're selling is on the internet as well.
Yeah, e-commerce is big.
Right.
Yep.
So we don't have an online store. We are looking at doing that. So we've been revamping different things, so trying to get our store set up. And if that worked, great. If not, then we're going to be left behind, I guess is what you would call it, because how much deeper can you go? We got the biggest archery shop in the state of Indiana. So
is it really?
Oh yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, most shops don't have a 40-yard range. Most shops don't have a range set up just for the Genesis program, and most people don't have 20 lanes in their paper range. So, I mean, we put in for what the people wanted, right? And we got all the bow lines. So, once again, it's just how far do you go and how much more can I do, right?
Yeah.
So finding young man like this guy here, find him that's got ambition, that comes in and says, hey, let's do these leagues. Hey, let's do these things. Cool, go. Here's some money, go.
Right.
Make it happen, because I can't.
Right.
So I don't have the new networking of all the phone stuff, all the programs and platforms that they're on.
Right.
So, yeah.
We're going to transition some discussion into what you offer for your customers or your clients. And I'm going to ask both of you. So we've got a little bit more service-based, and Tom, your Cutting Edge Sporting Goods is both product and a little bit of service as well. So let's start with you, Jared. Edward Jones, talk about the different, you kind of gave us a rundown at the very beginning: retirement, 529, CDs, annuities. But talk about, if I'm coming in as a potential customer or client, what can you offer? Okay. And what do I need to be asking or bringing along with me before I come?
Good question. And I think what we offer really depends on the client itself,
okay.
right? So we sit down, we have a really friendly, fun discussion of, hey, where are we at today? We work through an established process. Where are we at? Would we like to go? We come up with a plan, and then we maintain that plan over time with future meetings, right? And we can kind of bend that plan. Life's never a straight line, right?
Sure.
So we're always going to hit bumps, and we can go back and refresh those goals, or how we're saving, sometimes even maybe that retirement age. Sometimes we find it needs to go a little bit further out. Sometimes we can pull it forward. So it really depends on each individual relationship and what their status is. Right. Now, I'm loving this combination because I heard what Tom said. I'll add a little bit more, right? So I heard what Tom said about, hey, starting to hit a little bit of pain in the business, right? And we're growing, we're big, right? Yeah. And so we've actually, based on the amount of revenue that you're bringing in, we've actually got a application that we can get you in touch with some folks. We run through a informal appraisal, and they will recommend some action items to improve those things and hopefully bring back some of that joy, so that you get more free time and you've got time to do things that you want to do. And what business owners can find over that improvement period, actually start to like the business again. So it's a really cool added benefit that we're just now pushing out just a little bit. And so that is becoming an option for business owners as well. So just a good segue between the two.
100%. And so if Tom is going to look at that with you, what does he need to, when he calls you to schedule an appointment or whatever that process looks like, what does he need to say to you or ask you if he is wanting to look into that application appraisal process?
Good question. So it's really around business value, and we call it enterprise value. Okay. And that is kind of separate from the capital value of the business. It becomes more that relationship, the processes within the business, the things that make it easy, right? Could you walk away and the business functions on its own, or do you have to be there, right? And then how can we improve that so it's more standalone? And so hopefully it's less headache for the owners. It functions, if you want to go on vacation somewhere and you don't even have to think about it, right? We like to get folks away from that so they can truly relax.
So, Tom, when you call Jared, you were asking for an enterprise value.
Right.
Noted.
Yes.
Perfect. Jared, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about how people can reach out to you and learn more. Like, is there an application process that they need to go through? Can they just call? Can they walk in?
Nope. Really simple, just like our conversations. So you can call the office, 812-716-2622. You can stop by, right? A lot of people up there on the square eating, maybe stop by after lunch and we can see if there's an appointment available. Or if you look on the Edward Jones website under my name, Jared Holcomb, then you can send us a message directly to the branch.
Okay. And you mentioned Downtown Square. What is that address?
It is 115 East Main Street.
Perfect.
It's on the best side of the square. We have a really good view of the tree, right?
Do.
We watch the foliage up there.
You have a fantastic view, yes.
Well, ours used to be, I think it was 206.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, on West Main. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were down by Sherwin-Williams. So, yeah.
You could probably see it.
Probably.
From there.
Yeah. So let's switch gears, and we talked about some of the services that is offered by Edward Jones. Let's talk a little bit about if I am a customer, if I am a community member and I'm entering Cutting Edge Sporting Goods, Tom, what am I going to see? What do you have in there?
Well, I mean, again, it goes the same thing as he said. Depends on the person, right? So you walk in the door and you already have a compound bow or something, and you need it serviced, right? So we offer everything for those. You know, whether it's replacing the strings to, you know, just fixing a peep sight, whatever it takes. But walking in and never done it before, we offer lessons. We have rental bows like the Genesis bows, which is as easy as it gets, right? And take them in the range back there and teach them how to use it. We get people coming in with lunch and learns. You know, they do their, you know, they'll meet one person from Indianapolis, one from Cincinnati, come in the shop. They'll rent the bows for, you know, I think it's $10 or $15. They go back and they do their meeting while they're shooting and having a good time.
That is cool.
Yeah. So we've had, you know, groups of 5 or 6 of them come in, and that's what they did on their lunch break. You know, they just showed up, shot, and had a great time. And then, you know, again, it depends on what a person needs.
Right.
Most of our service, you know, they come in the door and they got, you know, a crossbow or a compound, and, you know, they need to do strings. You know, we tell them to bring it in every year for a checkup, because I don't want them to go to the woods with a chance that they can have an issue and not harvest their animal.
Right.
So we don't want them to, you know, second guess their equipment. So come in and check it out every year, because I don't charge anything to look at them. I want them to be right. I'm not saying that it won't cost you in the end if you come in and you need new strings.
Right.
But so yeah, I mean
that's interesting. I have a lot of people who call us, and I'd not ever thought about the lunch and learn portion with Cutting Edge, but a lot of people will call the chamber office and ask for referrals on an outing, an experience outing with their teammates. You know, where can I take my group of ladies, or where can my team go, and where can I take, you know, and that is a great, a great
I'd say, you know, at least a couple of times a month we get a few of them just show
Very
up,
cool.
and it's different ones, right? So one might refer the other person, hey, go down there to Cutting Edge, and it's a good place to meet, and it's a blast because you're laughing at yourselves because, you know, you don't hit the target in the middle and you hit the wall, you know, most of them laugh.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's a great time.
I'm going to have to come and just experiment and play, and I think that would be a great, I like to take little field trips. So yeah, I'll come and take a field trip and check it out. And as far as products go, you've mentioned the bows and everything that goes along with that. What else is there as far as products?
I mean, of course, we have the targets that you shoot at. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, if you're into compound bows, you know what goes on them. I mean, there's, you know, some people shoot fingers, which is the Genesis, so they don't get to use sights on some of their bows,
Okay.
right? So, like 4-H, the NAS program, and all them, they use the Genesis bows. But I mean, we've got food plot seed in there for the hunters that put food plots out for the deer. I mean,
You name it, you've got it.
Anything to do with the hunting part of it, yes.
Okay.
Hunting and archery. We don't sell a bunch of clothes because that's just one of the hardest things to do. We don't sell boots.
Okay.
And people ask all the time, why don't you carry boots? Well, I'm not a shoe store.
That's a good answer.
You know, I mean, you go to some of these, like, you know, Bass Pro can carry all that stuff.
Right.
Because they're going to have, you know, 100 employees walking around.
Right.
We're Cutting Edge Sporting Goods, and it's me, the wife, and an employee. So, and I've got a good one, and hopefully he stays.
Yeah. Perfect. We've reviewed with both of you. You know, you've both. It's interesting. We have two totally different dynamics in here, but very similar, very paralleled answers. In that, you both are talking about the fact that it is up to the customer, and it kind of depends on the customer or the client as to what direction that conversation goes once they're in that location or in the business. You both have mentioned that you kind of need to review one time a year, that it's good to, you know, have those annual reviews. And let's just kind of finish off the segment with, Jared, I'm going to ask you first, talking about how you are integrated or becoming more integrated in the community here, whether it's within Greensburg or Decatur County in general. So let's talk a little bit about that, and maybe what some of that looks like now and potentially in the future.
Okay. Yeah. So I know I had to add on my radar for a while to start coming to the chamber lunch and learns. And so I just got that done last month. I finally had some time to start coming to those. So
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing those.
Yeah.
That gives a good opportunity for us to meet other business owners, right? Just
100%.
introductions. It's really nice. It's fun. You get a lunch, right? Everybody loves a lunch.
100%. Yep.
And then also, right, we have started, we plan to start some more sponsorships in the area,
Okay.
right? And then we also may do some walks and things like that out of the branch. So it's always good. I think since I never lived in Greensburg, it's really great to see all the good activities that occur and all the events.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty impressive. So all the folks in Greensburg are doing a great job, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm sure we'll spread this as we move forward.
Yeah, I love that. It is our pleasure and our honor to be able to connect you with different people in the community. So yes, please take advantage of some of those different opportunities that we provide through our different event segments. But at the same time, we have a lot of other great organizations who do really, really great things for our community too. So I always tell people that you can get involved at whatever level, and it really is dependent upon how much time you have. But there's plenty of opportunities. I'm going to flip over here to Tom. We're going to go back to Cutting Edge Sporting Goods. Tom, I know that there are ways that you are connected to our community, and I see that through some of the different posts and things that you have on Facebook and in your social media. Talk a little bit about how you're staying connected here in the community.
I'd say the biggest part that we're connected with the community is going to be the kids in the archery programs.
Yeah.
I used to coach for the Greensburg junior high. So being part of that, it was a blast, but it was just too much. So I let a couple other parents get into it and do it more. So now we just help as many as we can. Cutting Edge is kind of hard to actually mingle with the rest of the community as far as, the other businesses. Archery
They're coming
is
to you a lot.
right.
Yeah.
Archery is just archery. It's hunting. So if somebody's into it, they're into it. If they're not, they don't even know Cutting Edge is there.
Right. Well, they do now because we just announced it to everybody listening as well as our YouTube watchers.
Right.
Everybody knows you're there now.
Yeah. So it's we try to do leagues and stuff like that. We try to do a Genesis league, but we can't really get very much response with it, mainly because all the kids are doing, they practice twice a week, and then they got an event each weekend. Yeah. So parents just can't take them and add more and more and more, right? You're spreading the parents thin. So it's a tough.
I appreciate your concern for that as a parent.
It is tough. There's so many things. Travel balls to travel everything.
Absolutely.
And they're just sinking time and all that in there. Just like you said, he's finally hitting some of the lunch and learns. I've never hit one.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's during the day when I'm working. And it's me, the wife, and an employee. Well, if we're busy, it ain't happening. And then once again, getting there and to mingle with the other ones, the opportunities he offers for, businesses is good for every one of them,
right.
Whether it's the beginning or the end. So for us, it's whatever we can do when it wants to put you in the woods or put you in a range to shoot, the 3D foam animals or, just a target.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of great opportunities there. Tell the listeners and those who are watching on YouTube where you're located.
We're on 1305 North Lincoln here in Greensburg. It's right next to the Acre car lot, so that's the easiest way to know where we're at.
Okay. And shop hours?
We're 10 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday.
Perfect. And then as far as leagues, can they find information out about that on your website, on Facebook? What's the best place to go for?
Facebook is usually our go-to. We've got a website, websites were old school back in 09. They said
People
you had to have one.
People still use them, I promise you.
Yeah. And I actually had a guy come in and he showed me I needed to fix a few things. So, but yeah.
All the things.
Yeah. We had to have a website because everybody used websites. Now everybody uses Facebook.
And what is your website?
It's cuttingedgesportinggoods.net.
Okay, perfect. So if you're out there listening and you're thinking about where can my next employee retreat be, or maybe it's something even just along the lines of, hey, I need to get my bow restrung, check out Cutting Edge Sporting Goods on Facebook on their website. They're located at 1305 North Lincoln, open 10 to 6. Tuesday through Saturday. Tom, I want to thank you for coming in. Our paths don't get to cross very often. I know I've popped in there just a time or two, giving you the chamber members window cling to put in your windows and stuff like that. But I appreciate you taking the time to step away from the business for 30 minutes or so and to have a chat with us here on Community Connections. So we appreciate your membership and look forward to continuing to serve you and connecting other people with you like we've done with Jared here today.
So Jared's walked in this door. We've talked.
Awesome. So Jared, let's wrap up with you as well. Let's talk a little bit about location, the different social medias you have, how people can get in contact you, and your hours of operation.
Okay. All right. Yep. And so obviously we're very close to the world famous tree.
Yeah.
Right there on the square.
Yeah.
Can't miss it. So we're on the south side of the square, 115 East Main Street, right next to the nice alleyway there. There are 2 Edward Jones offices right there. We're the one right next to the alley.
Okay.
And so then if you'd like to get a hold of us, you can go to the Edward Jones website, search for Jared Holcomb or Greensburg, and you can send us a message directly from there. Or, like I mentioned, you can give us a call, 812-716-2622, and we will get you all set up.
We will have this segment uploaded to our member-to-member newsletter that will go out next week. So if you missed a portion of this and want to hear or check out a little bit more, you can definitely check the link in next week's newsletter. It will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel, and we are currently live here on WTRE's YouTube channel. So I want to thank Lucas behind the desk here for getting us all straight, making sure we sound really, really fantastic. And want to thank WTRE for hosting Community Connections every first and third Wednesday of the month. If you are a chamber member and you are looking to fill a spot and would like to be a guest on the show, please just reach out to me. You can call our office, 812-663-2832, or you can send me an email to info@greensburgchamber.com. Let me know you're interested, and I'll see what our next availability is. I want to thank both Jared and Tom for being live in studio with us today, and we look forward to supporting you here in the future. Wish you all the best. And with that, I'm Dawn Lowe from the GDC Chamber. Have a great April Fool's Day.